Welcome to the Garnet and Old Show. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. I'm Ryan. That's Vince. Vince, how are you today, my friend?
Today, Ryan, is a old man yells at cloud day for me. It is, matter of fact, and I'll bring this up again here in a little bit when more people join the stream. But if anyone has some great Photoshop skills, if you could get, maybe my cartoon with old man yells at cloud, that's the way I feel right now.
I have ChatGPT. I can do that for you.
I am completely beside myself. So much so that, Ryan, let's just say there was a learning session at work today, and you know what that is. And the learning session today was about conflict resolution and conflict management. And I was training on that today. I did not follow my own rules today.
You got into conflict in the show. I hope you got into conflict while training everyone.
Oh my gosh. And there was no conflict during the training, but the conflict between me and Streamyard and the conflict between me and DirecTV, not going too well right now. Not going too well.
One is easily solvable.
Welcome, everybody, to Garnet and Old.
We've been telling you, Vince, the YouTube TV, you got to do it, man.
I know.
It's time, brother.
We can dig more into that a little bit later as kind of some fodder to get the juices flowing. But live from the Captain Black's Fishing Studios, Garnet and Old.
Garnet and Old, Vince. And I'll actually have a different backdrop next time you and I talk. I haven't set it up yet. It came in the mail.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So it's an encasement that sits behind you like a square, and it's on wheels, and I can just wheel it behind me. And I think I'm going to buy 2 lights similar to what you have back there and put it behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And then you won't see, it's an ice mini fridge. Don't get me wrong. And that's an Opal ice maker, the GE Opal ice maker.
Yeah,
if any of you guys drink cocktails, you got to have the right ice. Okay. So
it makes all the difference in the world. It makes you feel fancy when you have the right ice.
And we got it on sale 2 years ago for like 30% off. So that's what we do.
So you're getting that going. I kind of did a reveal of some of the new stuff I have here in the studio. Again, thanks to Captain Black's Fishing for some of the materials I have here. I also, as you can tell, Ryan, look what I did up here.
Oh yeah, is that little helmets up there?
Little hats, man. My hats are up there.
Nice.
Think about all the hats that everybody owns, and you only get to wear one at a time.
I don't wear hats, but yes.
There you go. And I got some good ones up there. So,
what up, Douglas? Welcome to the show. He says, "What up, fellas? Go Noles." Hop in the chat just like Douglas. And hey, if you want to hit like and subscribe, if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a member, you get direct connection with Vince and I on X, and you also get a members only stream just for you guys every other week. We'll be doing ours next Thursday at 6:30, right before the Garnet and Old show. So yeah, look forward to that. Join our channel. Vince, we kind of got a suspiciously good show today. It's one that I didn't expect.
I didn't expect it either. I was wondering, Ryan, what we were going to, because you can only talk about the fact that, DJ should not be quarterbacking so much.
Yeah, we will talk about that, though.
We are going to talk about it, but that's all anybody's talking about pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to fill an hour with that. It's obvious to everyone out there. But some other really great tidbits came about this week, and I kind of put it in the description of the show here. We were kind of tired of talking about the lawsuit and conference realignment. We were so excited for the season to start, and then the season pretty much cratered immediately. Now I'm excited to talk about that again.
What's interesting, though, is first, I want to break this up into 3 parts, Vince.
Yeah.
The 3 parts being the information that came out and where it likely came from. The second part being what it actually means and what comes next. And the third part being the reaction on social media from other people outside the Florida State fandom. So let's start with, to fill you guys in, if you weren't aware, a leaked report came out through many official channels that others jumped on the bandwagon on and said, yeah, I've been hearing the same thing. You didn't. You heard it from the Ross Dellinger, who reports on everything in college football. But essentially it says that there is some talk about a settlement in which teams like Florida State and Clemson can get paid more for their viewership numbers and their brand than, say, like a Wake Forest, despite being one of the premier brands in college football. A team like Florida State and Clemson would earn significantly more money than, say, Wake Forest or Duke.
But Ryan, it would be available to any school.
Yeah, Jim Phillips, the leak indicated that would be available to anyone who could pull some more numbers. What was even more interesting is that it said that it would also reduce the end of the show, the contract and the grant of rights to 2030 instead of 2036, even though right now 2030 wouldn't even be guaranteed based on the current ESPN agreement. So that's still kind of in the territory of speculation, even from the people who are talking about this potential. So let's open it up, Vince. My first reaction was this happened to follow recently after Florida State at the motion to dismiss in court, right? It seems like almost like the ACC would want something like this to come out saying, we're playing ball here. Hey, Florida State said all they wanted was a better partner, and here we are, the gracious hosts that we are, even though we asked for this 2 years ago and they told us we were crazy. Clearly this came from the ACC. Do you agree?
I do agree, and Tom Lang had some interesting thoughts on it. If you guys listen to some of the guys from the War Chant, he had some interesting thoughts, and as I was reading through it, he's absolutely right. The way some of that stuff is worded, the way some of the things are brought out in that quote unquote leak, just you can't read that and say this is a Florida State leak.
Yeah, this is mentioning basketball,
mentioning that all this would be available to all the schools. Like Florida State would not write something like that.
Yeah,
it's definitely from the conference, and it's definitely a leak that is it's like formulated. Like there's a reason why it came out when it did. Mm-hmm. And here's a problem that I have, Ryan. And I've called some people out on it a little bit on Twitter. The reports you get from people, the quote unquote reports that you get from quote unquote reporters, are pretty much all echo chamber stuff, right? And so all of a sudden, everybody has this inside information that they had a feeling something like this was going to happen, right? And they had heard some things that could possibly. Well, yeah, I mean, I can do that too. And I'm not pretending to be a journalist. Everybody wants to be in the know all this stuff, and you don't have to be in the know for everything. Go ahead, Ryan, do that. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely, man. FSU MCAT, thank you so much for gifting us using the super chat and the gift function. If you have any questions or anything you want us to talk about in the show, post it in the chat and we'll try to cover it. Hey guys, this is exactly how we keep the bills paid. But
let me tell you,
we have one other thing going on right now, and it's exciting stuff. And
hold on, before you continue with this, I know where you're going. Mm-hmm. The person that just super chatted us, Captain Black.
Captain Black himself.
That's Captain Black himself. It's Captain Black himself.
One person that is a gift to all of us. Let's go. and joins the show right now. Welcome to the show, Doug. Great to see you. How are you today, my friend?
Y'all are hilarious. I'm doing fantastic. Excited about the start of the baseball season.
Yes, exactly. It's happening sooner, hopefully really, really soon. Let me finish what I was going to say, Ryan, before we get Doug involved
You
here.
should always finish what you're saying before you bring me on to interrupt you.
Look at it. Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment too, Brian. And what I was getting at was all of a sudden everybody has all the inside information out of nowhere, right? And it's all this echo chamber of, reporting upon someone else's report.
I had it too.
And I had it too. And that's just ridiculous. But the other part that's driving me crazy is that this stuff that you're getting from quote unquote journalists, they don't even want to hint that there could be anything other than this is, Florida State and Clemson coming to the table. Like there's not even a hint that it could possibly be the other way around. What do you think about that, Doug?
So I think that people are getting lost in the words that really don't matter. Yes, it is quite possible and even probable that Florida State and Clemson proposed this solution. Well, number one, are they getting credit for proposing this in 2022, 2023? Are we going back to that? Because technically that's when they proposed it. So the ACC is now listening to a proposal by Clemson. That's technically accurate. If it's post litigation, post the start of the lawsuit, well, the defense doesn't make an offer until they know what the demand is. So they can sit there and say, get us something, get us something, get us something, as we saw with A.G. Moody, as we saw with that whole clown show. If you just give us something, we can claim victory. So yes, you do. The plaintiff is the one always that says, here's what it would take to get us to go away. But that's not the way this was originally brought out. This didn't say the ACC has been presented with a proposal. Remember, you have to take all the little breadcrumbs in conjunction. We just learned about a 6-hour president meeting about a solution. You don't have a 6-hour meeting to read a proposal, especially
Doug,
not one that you're not entertaining seriously.
Doug, that was a regularly scheduled meeting.
The meeting occurrence was regularly scheduled. The duration was not.
And we've all been there. We've all, in any line of work, you've all been to that. This is an hour meeting on the calendar. And then 4 hours later, there's three people in the room that are going at each other. You're like, how did we get here? That's what that was.
And somebody's ordering a pizza at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're calling the wife and you're saying, I'm not going to be home for a while.
We are sitting here and we are getting this done, or we are at least making substantial progress. So you read those two things in conjunction. And look, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if the leak represents the actual deal. I don't know if any of this is true. Yeah. It's a lot like fishing. I was saying that on Twitter or X. They have a really big fish on the line. That doesn't mean you landed in the boat. Yes. A whole number of things can happen, not the least of which is, do the conference members even want this? Does ESPN want to contribute to this? So again, just to make sure everybody knows what the deal is, it is a separate pool of secondary funds. We don't know how much. $5 million is a non-starter. $50 million is getting close. Is it $100 million? We don't even know. Of funds that are to be distributed based on participation and eyeballs and observers of conference sports, both football and basketball. What's the apportionment? Is it 80-20? Is it 60-40? That's a detail that matters. And then the last important point is how long it is going to be cut off from the grant of rights. There's talk about a grant of rights ending in 2030. Is that ESPN proposing that because they want all of their contracts to wrap up at the same time? Is that the ACC saying, yes, we'd like to get it done for that? Is that Clemson and Florida State saying, okay, we'll be patient. We can wait 2 or 3 more years from our current timetable as long as we know when the end date is. It doesn't really matter who is proposing what. All parties have to agree. That's why I haven't gotten in the weeds with some of these people. Oh, this shows the weakness. It doesn't matter. Either there is a deal or there isn't a deal. That's what matters.
Yeah, I just, from my standpoint, it bothers me, and maybe it shouldn't. It bothers me that people that people look to for information and facts and things like that, there's no way that it could be anything other than, FSU and Clemson groveling back to the table.
That's the biggest nonsense that you could. There's no factual basis in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I call them out on it every now and then because the logic doesn't fly for me.
Right.
So absolutely, think about this, if the grant of rights, and I think it's ESPN pushing this, of course, if the grant of rights is said to be, okay, we're going to cut this back to 2030, that's a hell of a win, man. Even if we think the grant of rights is fake and phony.
Right.
And I do think they could get out of it if they really wanted to push the issue. But, you brought up a good point, Doug. If you can say, okay, we'll remain pat till 2030, that means we're also going to save whatever amount of money they were going to charge us to get out.
People think. Like, Mike Norvell's been here 5 years. Does it feel like it's been 5 years?
Like that.
Right. So
this week has felt like 5 years.
I'm going to put my speculation hat a little bit on here.
Okay.
I'm going to speculate myself that they knew this was Florida State's and Clemson's original proposal. The ACC, meaning they went to the normally scheduled meeting, and they brought it up to the conference members. Hey, guys, I think this needs to be revisited. How's about we do something like this? What would people's thoughts be? Go around the room, and that's why it turns into a 6-hour meeting. They want the ACC. Listen, PR is important. They want the news to be out there that, hey, we're at least talking still about a potential settlement which FSU and Clemson stays. That keeps some of the other member institutions who might be nervous about things like the Pac-12 and Big 12 coming sniffing around. That makes them a little bit more comfortable. Like, oh, maybe this thing does stay together. Puts out the word that, hey, it's not just about football and it's also about basketball. They put that in there very specifically. So all this is to me is that ESPN/ACC wanted the world to know that this was brought up in the normally scheduled but very long meeting of 6 hours, and that, hey, we're still open to negotiation. We want this thing to work out between us. We're good conference partners, like we have said in the lawsuit, like we have said everything. We're good. We're trying to represent our member institutions. That's what that is. And for people who are saying, well, why wouldn't FSU come out and say, hey, this isn't from us or whatever? They don't need to. The lawsuit right now is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they can also be talking to make their current situation more advantageous in case the lawsuit does not go their way. So at the same time, they can say, yes, we're going to agree. You know what? Let's say they agree. We're gonna stay in the conference till 2030. That's fantastic. Well, guess what? At 2030, which is the snap of a fingers in the world of college football, then you have time to plan your move and work out the ideal situation and scheduling and all the things that it's a lot that goes around to conference realignment. So I also caution those Florida State fans who are like, this is the worst. I hope this actually financially would make more sense to Florida State as an institution than the rushed move that we all as fans want to see just because we like Florida State going to another conference. You might not like it right now. So again, guys, be level-headed fans here. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And you would know you had your end date then. It's perfect for everyone, honestly. And I came out of that and I told Vince, I mean, it doesn't sound too bad.
And some people just want to be unhappy. Yeah, I've said that since the beginning. Look, I'm not on the payroll, I'm not on the legal team, but I truly have thought from the beginning that this was a reasonable solution. And so that's how I've been publicizing it and couching it and sharing on Twitter. Is like, no, guys, let me explain why this actually makes sense. You mean we have to stay in the conference 2 more years. We don't have to pay the $200 million to $300 million settlement fee. And we can start talking openly with other conferences about where we might end up because we're not risking the tortious interference component to the claim. And ESPN's going to give us a little extra money. Yeah.
Think about it from the school's point of view. They never said they hate the conference and they have to leave the conference. What they said was, we're not making enough money.
The financials are untenable.
The financials do not work. So if 2 years ago, when they originally proposed this, merit-based finances, if the conference would have been like, yeah, that's a great idea, we wouldn't even be where we are right now.
Right.
Do I want to get out of the conference? Yes. I want to get out. I want to get out. I don't want to be part of this conference. But as far as the passion, my institution, my alma mater, if it's the right solution for them for now, I'm going to put my fan vindictiveness hat away, and I'm going to say whatever's best for the university. And I do believe that they've got to get the other schools to agree to this. And I think part of that leak is putting some pressure on some people.
Sure.
If they can get them to agree to it, and chopping off 6 years off of the proposed ironclad, man, right when all these media deals are coming back up for negotiation, it really couldn't be a better. And we're getting more money. It has to be the right amount of money. It couldn't really be better, to be honest with you. We're going to have to, as fans, we're going to have to hear all the nonsense about, well, there was no place for you to go, and nobody wanted you.
You'd have to care.
Yeah, the only stories that bothered me in the last day or two were the ones that say FSU and Clemson wasted everyone's time the last 2 years with all this. Well, guys, the ACC wasted everyone's time because this was proposed 2 years ago by Florida State and Clemson. So all it was is that Florida State and Clemson were absolutely adamant that we cannot stay pat in the current financial situation. So the only person who wasted time and dragged their feet is the ACC. So we're just going to have just like we have to wear the losses. As fans, we're going to have to wear other people's stupid opinions. And
let me insert a counterpoint here.
Yep.
There is, again, the big if is if this reporting is even accurate. The difference between 2 years ago and now is we wanted Clemson and Florida State wanted the other members to take less. What is different now is ESPN has stepped in after they've gotten roped in and lopped into this and allegedly has said, we'll pony up a little bit more, something they didn't have to do and weren't necessarily required to do, but they recognize stability is important. They want to try and get past all these cable docs, keep Fox out of Southeast for a little while longer. So there is a motivation to them not to extend to 2036. That wasn't tenable to them. Not getting Clemson and Florida State into the SEC for another $100 million each, but let's put $50 million or $70 million into this pool. And now we're saving money and the other schools are happy. And it really is a kumbaya moment that I didn't anticipate. I did say, and I have to go back at some point. I want to find it because I did suggest about a month ago that staying was an option, but nobody thought that ESPN would be the one to say, and we're going to help make that happen by contributing more money.
Think about that for a second, because you're absolutely right. At the time, 2 years ago, the only way Florida State or Clemson could see this happening was we have to take money away from the Wake Forests of the world and give it to us. There's no way the other schools are going to do that. This new idea, if it is valid, is this is different money. So, there's Wake Forest can't complain anymore about taking less, right? They're going to get what they normally get.
They might still try to complain. That might be
they will, because then they'll say, well, why should we pay Florida State more when they're 0-3 right now, which is ridiculous.
We still pulled 1.5 million viewers for that last game, FYI.
I know.
They're going to watch Cal. It's going to be another 1.5 million.
It's going to be huge. Hate watching is a real thing, and I'm okay with it because
the advertisers love it.
Dollars are dollars. So this is different, like you said. The question is how much is this additional pot? Because if it's 5 million per, forget it. I think it has to be upward of 20 to 30 million more for Florida State and Clemson to be able for them, plus the chopping off of the grant rights, for it to even be something you're going to talk about.
Remember and confirm if you've heard this or not heard this, but the new college football playoff is going to have an ACC team in there. As I understand it, that's going to be generating about $8 million in revenue.
Mhm.
So there's already only a $30 million gap this year, 20 million to 50 million. You add 8 million. Well, I guess the SEC, no, it doesn't count because the SEC is going to get 16 million
Right.
or 24 million.
Oh,
You know, I don't do math. Yeah, or 36 million.
Right.
So so I guess that doesn't matter, but still the parity of 30 to 50, 20 to 50 is a $30 million gap. In that you don't have to have $30 million of makeup, but you know, I can't begin to imagine it's a $20 million makeup. 10 million, 15, 17 million, maybe scrape 2% back from the other members for contribution to this pool. I don't know. It'll be very curious to see if and how this ultimately works out, if this is the path we're going down.
And why would ESPN want to do this? Why would they all of a sudden want to have, all of a sudden they have money? That's because, like you said, you know, 2 years ago when this was proposed, how many people really thought that Florida State and or Clemson were really going to go to the mat on this? They're like, you know what? You can whine all you want. We don't care. You're locked in. But now there's a request for summary judgment. There's all of these things, and there is pressure now. It's like, oh, this is a real thing that could possibly happen.
I used the Death Star as my GIF when I was breaking this down, saying we've analyzed their battle plans and we've determined there is, in fact, a weakness. That's what's happened.
Yes.
They've realized that actually, okay, maybe ironclad doesn't mean ironclad.
I think there's one more thing that plays into it, Vince. The other half of this is, I think, on the recent financial report that for the first time ever, by the way, in its existence, ESPN Plus / the Disney bundle actually posted a net profit for that streaming. And with the plan to inevitably announce, right now it's scuttlebutt, but eventually next year announce a direct consumer college football plan, I think this is leaning into that. They know that the cable deals, that's why you're seeing them being bullish with someone like DirecTV or Dish Network.
Don't get me going. Don't get me going.
I think they know and they see the trajectory is going up on the direct-to-consumer model that they've put forth, and it actually is a pretty good bundle, the Disney Plus bundle, the ESPN Plus one. And if they add more content for an extra $5 a month and you can get all the ESPN ABC games, a lot of people will buy that. And I think they know that they'll have that to lean into, but they need assets to sell it. And the ACC network is an asset.
All right.
Stability is a big deal.
Homework. Any last questions before I head out?
You're the man, Doug. You're the man.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Have a good
night.
night. Let's go back and get to some of these comments, Vince.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like Jeremy, who's been a heavy participant in the chat. Hope the ACC is blinking now. We can capitalize it. We agree. I also want to say, Peter, welcome. Good to see you again. Hi, thanks. You love our show and the Noles.
We love the Noles.
Daniel, do you think this was pushed by ESPN to help get some resolution before February 1st deadline? Of course it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course it was. Ella, you can pronounce that one, Vince. I don't know.
Elagabalus.
Elagabalus, however, an agreed upon compromise that nobody loves but accepts could provide the template for all future network conference negotiations, which is, I think, an interesting point.
So let me talk about this real quick before we go on to another comment, because I was thinking about this. Right now, the majority of the conference dollars are evenly distributed across all the teams, regardless of how good they are, how bad they are, the eyeballs they draw, or whatever. And I think it's a better idea to start with kind of like everybody gets a base pay, right? And so everybody is going to get, kind of like what we're trying to do here. Everybody's going to get $40 million a year just to exist, to play some games.
Yep.
Then you have some success initiatives, which I think is also a great idea.
Yeah,
and then
gives
you
places
also
like Wake and Duke a chance.
right, and then you also have a meritocracy on terms of, do people watch you? Are you the team that's then you? I think that combination of those things is probably the way to go going forward in general.
Speaking of things, a way to go forward, Jeffrey Day writes YouTube TV plus Hulu, Disney, and ESPN as an addition for college streaming. Build your own package. Hey, this is where it's all going, man. ESPN wants to be direct to consumer because they make the most amount of dollars. They don't have to take a cut out of it from these cable subscribers. So for sure, I do agree that base pay is needed. Then you give the smaller schools who happen to have a good year occasionally, some increases for their performance on the field, and then you give the viewership numbers, some more money. And hey, if you're Florida State or Clemson and you have both of those things happen, a good performance year and good viewership, well, then if that cuts the parity down for the next 5 years at max until you can get out of the conference, then that's good for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I just think that's the way to go.
Yep.
Everybody gets the same, and nobody can complain about that. And then depending on how good your team is, how well you're doing, and how many additional dollars you're going to bring in because of your popularity, or everybody says the logo holds weight. You see that all the time.
Yep.
Then you should be rewarded for your value.
Yes.
So I love that, and I think that's the way we should go. Welcome everybody. We have 193 people watching right now. If you're watching on YouTube, and even if you're not, if you won't mind going over to YouTube and hitting the like button, that would be fantastic for us. We're trying to grow this show, and I see there's 115 people watching on my X account. And if you would go over to YouTube, just to click the thumb, just hop over there real quick and then go back to watching me on X.
And
That's
share it on X.
perfectly fine. And share it all out. Yeah. Grab that link and share it.
Let's get to the topic du jour, which everyone's been talking about for weeks, including us. Let's talk DJ. We all know, everyone's seen it by now. The depth chart comes out, it says DJ. We all know by now that even if he wasn't the starter this coming week, when the game actually gets played, that he would likely have been listed the starter, because why would you tell your opponent otherwise? However, I do feel like, based on comments post-practice and the video I've seen, that I actually, unfortunately, do believe he walks out in the starter. But I'm going to throw out a wild card, Vince, that I think is actually the second most likely scenario. I'm going to say that the second most likely scenario is that DJ nor Brock Glenn nor Luke are the ones that roll out of there. Tell me what I'm thinking, Vince.
Oh, I already know. You're on Team Trevor.
I think there is not a 0% chance, because if you need to change the numbers at the line of scrimmage and give yourself some running room and some spaces, and you feel like you can't block it up, man, look what Norvell did in the ACC championship game, running Wildcat, throwing one of your fastest players on the field. It's not a 0% chance. I give, in order of operation, Vince, DJ most likely to start based on not what I want, but what I think will happen. Trevor, the second most likely, then Glenn, then Luke. That's where my head goes. What are your thoughts?
I would be surprised, but we can't block it up. Nothing has indicated that we have the ability to, function as an offensive line in order to get the run game. Nothing. We've seen nothing. So, yes, having someone take snaps that has the ability to change numbers would be important. Whether that's Brock Glenn, because he's more athletic, fleet of foot than DJ, which isn't saying much, by the way.
And it was apparent in those videos that they showed where there was this drills where they try to get around the DB, and it looks like DJ is the slowest person in the world, and it looks like Brock is very fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but bringing a scout, the scout team guy in to start for you, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Might see Lawrence Toafili run Wildcat.
Yeah.
You
You could
because
see some packages for Trevor.
you could. I mean, I'm not opposed to anything at this point. Like, it's not working the way it is, but I do agree with you. Your initial thing is that it's like I was 80% that DJ was going to walk out there as the starter to start this game.
Yeah.
That was before the depth chart came out.
Mhm.
Now that the depth charts come out, I'm higher even than that.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Mike, for whatever reason, feels set that DJ's his guy. And for us fans, it's frustrating because we're so tired of losing. We don't know what's going on in Mike's head. There's a bunch of factors. I'm sure of it. I know that it's not as simple as we want to make it. But in some ways it is. If you're in the NFL watching even an NFL game and a quarterback, even if it's, let's say, Deshaun Watson, who's been playing awful recently, if he goes 0-3 or 0-4, Jameis Winston's coming into that game. They don't care that they just re-signed Deshaun Watson to a 5-year contract. At some point, you can't roll that guy out there. It's similar in any college football team. Eventually, if your offense is averaging like 12 points a game,
you got to produce. You got to change something up.
You got to change your quarterback. I mean, that's what all teams do.
Speaking of Jameis,
not like the defensive nature that Mike came off as in some of his, where he's saying that you don't just make a change to your scheme or players just to make it. Mike, that would be one thing if we were 2-1 and we were asking and DJ wasn't playing great, but we still won 2 out of 3. This is 0-3. It's Florida State.
It's not just 0-3, Ryan. It's unwatchable. I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah.
because it's my team. But it's really unwatchable. He's stubborn. He's got a stubbornness about him that I have not really noticed before. Think about this. The offense, it's built for playmakers. We talked about it for years and years, how he finds the ways to get the people that can change the scoreboard the ball. He tailors his offensive game plan around the players that he has. We've been saying this for years. He's not doing that right now. And Alex Atkins walking into practice isn't going to change the fact that the line has been terrible just because he's back in the game.
Yeah, K-Dog, who's a YouTube member, by the way, our offensive line is so garbage. Brock will look awful. I don't see. Here's one thing I agree and disagree. I do think it's bad. However, there were multiple times in that game last week where DJ had 3 to 5 seconds to read, and he just took a sack that didn't need to be took. Brock might still get pressured, but Brock will roll out of the pocket and get rid of the ball or run 2-3 yards, pick up some yards. That's the difference. You can see DJ lumbering around like a big, giant oak tree in all the practice footage. And then you see Brock come in, and it looks like more closely to what we had with Jordan Travis, which was, hey, he's pretty spry.
Yeah, and also I don't want to forget the fact or pretend that this doesn't matter, but the line has injuries.
Yep.
And so even more so, it's a reason to put someone back there that can literally evade somebody.
Yeah.
Just anybody.
I agree.
So, DJ is going to start this game. There are people that are going to boo. I won't boo, but there are people that are going to boo that. And it's going to look and sound bad. If the first drive doesn't go well, he'll come back again for the second drive. If 2 drives don't go well, at that point, in my opinion, you'll know if the stubbornness has really set in. Because if within 2 drives we don't see any kind of momentum, then and he's not going to make a change, that change is not going to happen.
I think that was this past game. How could you, as a coach, watch the start to that game, the last half of the first half of last game, and not make a change at halftime? It's beyond me. One thing I want to bring up, and I actually need to remind Vince of this. I know I told you a while back, but wrong one. Jeremy writes, "Forgive me, I'm going to a Creed concert on Saturday." He brought up he will miss the game. I don't think you might not miss much. But to all of you and Vince, as a reminder, my birthday is on Thursday next week. And I will be at a Hoodoo and the Blowfish concert during the normally scheduled Garnet Old show. So Vince,
solo,
this either solo or Doug or other Renegade Report people, or grab someone. We got plenty of people.
Maybe we'll do like a round robin. We'll pull in a bunch of people to do a kind of a round table show.
I believe Jeremy and I don't remember. I could have sworn he said he lived in Tampa, but yeah, I'm going to Hootie.
Yeah, Jeremy, you want to join the show next week? I will reach out to you. That would be awesome.
Jeremy, by the way, wanted me to mention, Vince, you were on his show last night. You want to shout out Jeremy's show?
I wasn't on his show. I was commenting during his show.
Jeremy, put the name of your show in the chat.
Yeah. He's got his own YouTube show. He does a great job. And Jeremy is very good. Like he does a vlog, and his vlogs that he does are fantastic. He always seems to find players or coaches or someone, and they always seem to show up in his vlogs. It's really, really great stuff.
Rock and Nole
channel. Yeah, Rock and Nole. Yep. I wanted to go back to Jameis real quick because I forgot to mention this. Did you see that thing that someone tweeted out about how Jameis, when he's in the huddle, he delivers the play that's about to be run as like it's a surprise to everybody. Like he delivers it as a guess what, everybody? Guess what play we're running?
I love his. I mean, his energy is infectious, man.
It is just awesome, and so Jameis. Lori McGann
writes, our
YouTube member writes, yeah.
Like I said in the recap, Norvell's pride has him standing in his own way. If it happens again this weekend, it's solidified. I agree.
Yeah, Alex Atkins isn't going to turnkey this thing around.
It might help some.
It'll probably help, but I mean, you've got injuries on the line, and he's not a healer. He's not Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah,
right?
It's not going to fix everything overnight.
So yeah, I mean, this is a good one here too. King Spleen. Coach should have auto packages for Brock regardless of need. This is a great idea.
Yeah.
I think, if I was going to have a different vibe about Norvell right now, and my vibe about Norvell right now is probably hovering around disappointment, right? But if I was going to have a different vibe about him, it would be if this happened. Like DJ's going to start, but it was packaged. It wasn't like waiting for the third wheel to fall off. It's kind of built in as how they're going to run the game.
Yeah, that put them in some second downs, that kind of thing.
That would make me feel a little bit better for sure.
K-Dog writes, I want to see Alex Atkins yell at some of our O-line Saturday. Yeah, I agree. That's funny.
Let's give out. Can I give out some free memberships here? Do I have some to give out?
Yeah, while we do that, Jeremy says, and Hootie is here in South Florida 2 days after that show, Ryan. Yeah, so definitely going to see Hootie. Can't wait. I'm a big Hootie and the Blowfish fan here in the Tampa Amphitheater. It's going to be a great show. All eyes on the tropics, though, on the Tampa side. Watching the computer models, there's some sniffing of potential activity, but we'll see. It's still too far out. But it sounds like Vince is going to give away some free YouTube memberships.
It's not letting me right now. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying, though. I'm getting a spinning wheel right now.
I'm going to help you out here, FSU MCAT. DJ.
Oh, come on. MCATDT. Marching Chiefs all the damn time.
Uyungalele. 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 You have to say it 3 times fast.
Uyungalele. Lele. Uyungalele. But it doesn't matter. Uyung not going to play much, hopefully.
Yeah, Uyunga no play.
Yeah, but, for some reason, YouTube's not letting me do this right now, so I'm trying.
Let's talk our predictions for this coming game. I picked a severe loss last week, actually. I predicted a blowout loss to Memphis. Vince was still holding on to a shred of hope and optimism and all of the rest.
I was also, what did I say? 21-17 or something like that?
Yeah, close game.
So how dare I think that Florida State could score 21 points at home against a G5 team?
Yeah. I might surprise you this week, Vince.
You're not going to surprise me. When you start like that, it's not a surprise.
So I like some of the videos I've seen of some of the younger players coming in saying, if you don't want to be here, get out. Call me a sucker for some of that kind of stuff, and the youth movement and all that stuff, and the potential of Brock playing or Trevor or someone like that. I do think we have it seems unfathomable to me that we would just roll out the same offense doing the same thing and just trying to beat our head against the wall. I have to believe, just for common sense's sake, that we do something different in this game. And so I, Vince, am going to actually predict Florida State to beat Cal 21-14.
Okay. I believe we are going to lose this game on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, and we will hit the 20-point mark, maybe 21, 24.
Getting excited on the offense, huh?
But it'll be like 28, 21, 28, 24.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll go for two when it's not necessary.
If you know me, I rarely, except in the lost decade, rarely expect Florida State to lose a game. That's the fan in me. I can always find some way, possibly, for things. I don't see anything other than kicking, going correctly right now. And until I see them win a game, I'm not doing it anymore.
So what's interesting is I'm playing the psychological game. I'm playing there was still belief that we could turn this around last week. I'm picking a loss. Once there's no belief and Norvell's looking at devastation square in the face, there has to be a win. Even horrible teams get wins, Vince. Even horrible teams.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go down the list of all the bad teams every single college football season, it's right around this time of year, after they've maybe started horribly, that they'll win one, and you'll be like, whoa, what the hell? Like, can't believe they won that game. And I think that this has that written all over it. I do want to shout out our Clemson fan in the audience.
Yes, Bo Weevil, by the way, watches our show all the time.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Bo Weevil.
Bo Weevil. Sorry, Noles, you got Clemson's bust of a quarterback, DJU. Bless your hearts. He gave me heart conditions at his time at Clemson. He moves like he's wearing concrete shoes, no pocket presence whatsoever. Yes, this rings true. I'm not even going to argue with you. Welcome to the show again, Bo Weevil. It's great to see you and appreciate you watching the show. Lori writes, right now they cannot block their grandmothers. The pocket is non-existent. It collapses so fast.
Well, DJU and my grandmother, that would be one heck of a foot race.
3 and out is DJU's middle name. Actually, it's usually like one first down and then sack.
Drop pass. So and that's important because I feel like we're kind of killing the kid right now. He's not a kid.
I'm gonna kill him. Yeah.
But not everything's his fault. But still, anyway, you still don't keep rolling him out there. You just don't.
DJ's eating the cats, Vince. He's eating the dogs. He's coming to our stadium. He's taking our fans.
Eating the pets. CHJ229. Do I think we're going to score 21? If it's not just DJ playing quarterback, there's a possibility. And I think we're going to see, hopefully, some other people back behind. So,
Jeremy writes, I have always found Clemson fans some of the nicest people out there. Yes. So tailgating wise, and a few times I've been to like a home game at Florida State or gone to Clemson whatever. Always super friendly. The only time I had something funny happen was in 2014, sitting in the away section with Clemson fans at Joe Campbell. That was the Sean McGuire game. I had a lady dressed as a crab behind me, and she kept putting her claws like on both sides of my head.
That's so
But then I turned around and did the Lee Corso wave when Carlos Williams hit the gas.
Yeah.
That was a good day.
Well, that's kind of fun though, right? She wasn't like cursing you up or down or anything. She was just giving you the crab claws.
Yeah. DJU needs our help.
Yeah, DJU needs some help for sure. And hopefully the help is, rolling some other quarterbacks into the game at some point. Before we close it out here, Ryan, because we're getting kind of close. Why don't you throw up some of these great fancy new features that we have?
I'm going to give people a little bit of a backstory. So we use a streaming platform to live stream to all our platforms called Streamyard. It's one of the most popular ones in the country.
And a lot of the shows you watch use it.
Vince, you got an email. What are we paying now per month, and what did it say it was going up to?
This is not Florida State content, but this is, again, old guy yelling at cloud content.
Us running a business content.
It's for the level we have is $49 a month. It's manageable.
Yeah.
Right? It's manageable. And this is not the only tool that we use. Got an email yesterday, maybe today. When was it? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Going up to almost $90 a month.
That's not a Netflix style jump where it's
What?
like $5. Like $5, you would have been like, ah. Even 10, you would have been like, ah.
Well, that's part of, stuff goes up in price. I get it, right? But an $80+ or an 80+% increase in that, and of course within this email, they're couching with all these great new features.
Yeah, I'm going to show some of them off.
One of them is that I get dark mode, which none of the fans care whether I'm in dark mode or not.
Yeah, I already had a dark mode extension, so it meant nothing to me. Let's show you what an extra $50 a month gets you.
Almost double the price. Look at that, people. StreamYard, you have outdone yourself. Oh, wow.
Couldn't even change, by the way, the layering or the names below us to also be stylized.
Crazy. I mean, the development it must have taken to get this done. And I understand what that is about because I managed the development team for quite a while.
One last one, Vince. Everyone, pay attention to the corners of our video here. Rounded edges.
Whoa. Put it back.
Look, I'm back and forth.
Look at that, people.
That's $50. I mean, how could we not?
How could we not part with almost double the amount of money for all those amazing features that you just saw?
It's going to make me want to drink. And by the way, to answer one of our friends' questions.
What are you drinking?
CSJ229, what am I drinking? So tonight, I went outside the box a little bit. I'm a whiskey guy, a bourbon guy. I have Crown Apple tonight.
Okay. Oh, it's good stuff, man.
Listen, it's hot in Florida. I get it. It's still hot in Florida. It's very hot in Florida. But I start feeling the fall feels, not from temperature, but from just the calendar around my birthday, which is next Thursday.
Oh, you brought that up twice.
If anyone, while I'm gone, by the way, at the Hootie concert and watching Vince, wants to give me a birthday gift of a super chat and donate towards the channel,
yeah,
well done. But I do enjoy a Crown Apple in the fall. In fact, I want to give you guys a recipe, very simple recipe for my bourbon whiskey drinkers out there. Crown Apple, 50% Crown Apple, mixed with Ocean Spray cran apple juice. They call it an Ottawa apple. They make it in Ottawa. It's fantastic. But yes, it is fall in a glass. And if you really want to get crazy and you have one of those smokers that you put the glass over it.
Oh.
And you get a little smoke. I have seen one variation. Liked it, didn't love it. Ocean Spray cran apple mixed with the bourbon with the maple bourbon.
Okay.
But the Crown Apple is in fall.
The basis. It's the foundation of a lot of good drinks there. Do we think DJ is better than James Blackman?
Talent wise, yeah.
Talent wise, oh yeah, like God-given talent,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Although James Blackman did snap the ball in an NFL preseason game once.
he did. But as far as like, didn't James Blackman, wasn't he the quarterback of a win or two?
Yeah, that's true. So we had other things. We had Cam Akers, though. I mean, that would help a lot of people out. If we had Cam Akers on this team, he might have broken, despite the terrible line play, he might have broken some. I believe Dalvin Cook would have likely gotten some touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. William Green. This deal is not, by the way, all caps, William Green. You're trying to get your point across here. This deal is not done. ACC teams will not agree to give FSU and Clemson more money. Full stop. Probably right. They would be wrong to make that decision, but they will probably make that decision. So that's unfortunate for them.
I like this one right after it. The all caps comment.
Yeah, stop yelling at us. And so let's talk about some other old guy yelling at cloud moments. I got another email today, Ryan. And this is not about me, but kind of. DirecTV Stream, who, by the way, I lost my channels. I lost all my football channels recently for quite a while. No ESPN, no ABC, because they were in some, I call it the middle school beef that you heard about online back and forth, because they couldn't come up with a settlement. I get it, and I got the channels back a couple days ago. They came back. So
And
finally,
you see what comes from it. Yep.
I get an email today saying, guess what? Your price is going up. I'm not having it. Not having it.
How much?
Enough's
Vince?
enough. Clouds. Vince is complaining. Yeah,
how much
I
is it
smile
going
when I complain. I do.
Tell the people how much.
Right now, I'm grandfathered into the package that was original, called the Go Big package.
Oh,
because I was one of the original subscribers to DirecTV Now. Back in the day, they gave away a free Apple TV for the initial subscribers.
I remember you being excited about that.
I was very excited about that. And it also was a lifetime price. You are an original subscriber, you will have a lifetime price. And I think it was like $49 a month. Over the years, this has been like 6-7 years. The price is going to go up. I get that. But now we're at 119.
Well, you could pay $80 for YouTube TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing it anymore. Not doing it anymore. I need the backing of the people here. I need you to go on social media and make sure you let DirecTV know that it's not right. It's just not right.
Do you ever wonder how DirecTV still even is in business? I mean, it seems satellite seems so like, but all right, guys, I think that's a good point to wrap it up. I like to end on Vince being angry. When Vince is angry, it makes me laugh. Sad clown.
Why is that though, Ryan? I'm pretty even keel, right?
Yeah, that's why I like it. It's so rare that when it happens, it makes me laugh. In fact, when the days that used to be kind of, if you came in grumpy to the office, a few of us would like, we would try to cheer you up and you just weren't having it. You just weren't having it,
Yeah, I'm in the groove. And right now my groove is all about that, about just the constant, nickeling and diming people.
Well, the groove this weekend will be about our pregame show for what hopefully could be, maybe, possibly, but not likely, a win against Cal. So join us. I think Vince will probably try to do that in the afternoon. Maybe like noonish. I don't know. We'll talk.
Yeah, Ryan, you won't be there, but I will be there. So you're going to
for the pregame.
Wait. You're going to Tallahassee?
Virtually.
Yeah. You're going to man in the studio from home.
So you let me know when you're all set up at the tailgate, which will be at noon, and then we'll do the show sometime thereafter.
Exactly. But I'm looking forward to it. I always love going to Doak. Even when the team's losing, I love being there. It's God's country. It's my home. It's my home, and I love being there. And, of course, the Chiefs will be fantastic.
As always, Vince, we want to send the Chiefs all the damn time. We also want to always say screw ESPN eternally, and we always say Garnet Old, no inside info. no contacts, no problem. Have a great night, everyone. There's some college football on. Go watch it. Go Noles.
Go Noles.